participants, welcome to our webinar series called Student Talks. I am delighted to have you with us here today as we embark on this journey to explore and celebrate the student experience at the German University of Digital Science. It is so exciting to be here to learn more from our students, but before we start, let's take a moment for some brief introductions, as always, for both the speakers and participants. So it would be wonderful if you could write in the chat where you're from and how you have heard about us. I am Nicoleta, and together with the Student Affairs Department, we focus so much on the student journey. We want you to have an excellent experience from the moment you start your application until you graduate. So we're student focused and give our best to make sure that our students have a successful and an enriching experience at the German University of Digital Science. Today, it is a pleasure to introduce Natalia Anikin, who is currently pursuing the MBA in Digital Transformation at the German UDS. Natalia, I would like now to pass the word to you so you could briefly introduce yourself.
Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Natalia Anikin. I am a doctor in one of big hospital in Berlin. And as a radiologist, I have a contact with digital technology every day. And it is really was interesting always for me to get knowledge about how it works. And of course, we all know that digital technologies really make a huge impact of medical care. And it was my second point why I decided to do this program.
Natalia, thank you so much, and it is such a pleasure to have you here with us today. I will continue resharing my slides now so I could give everybody, just give me a second to make it back to full screen. I'd like to first give everybody an overview of our agenda. This helps be on the same page basically, so we know what to expect, and we will address all the points as listed here. And as well, of course, the highlight is the student storytelling. This is why we're here today, to learn more from Natalia, how her experience so far at the German UDS, to study 100% online. And I'm also personally very interested in knowing how you are able to juggle so many responsibilities. You mentioned earlier in our conversation via email that you're also a mother, you also work and you study. So I'm very, very keen on learning all the ins and outs about how you manage to really deal with so much. And I think also for our participants would be very interesting to know that, because the modern learner is this type of learner who has a lot of different responsibilities. So before we dive into that, I'll start with a brief introduction of a German UDS. We'll also take questions from the audience. So please feel free to share your questions in the chat, and we will make sure to address all of them timely. So let's start. Then I'm excited to share that the German University of Digital Science is Germany's first fully online university. We are dedicated to advancing education and research in digital science, bridging the gap between today's technological landscape and the skills necessary for tomorrow's workforce. We very much know and we understand that basically the workforce is constantly changing, and how do we stay competitive, right? So here is where we come, because as digitalization continues to redefine industries and societies all around the world, German UDS stands as a response to this critical global need, be it in education, technology, innovation, and professional development. And our accessible online study programs empower learners from all over the world to basically get this kind of high quality, scalable education in digital technologies. This commitment to accessible education allows students worldwide to gain essential skills for thriving in a digitalized world. We all want to stay competitive, right? We want to have very good careers. So we're here to support you in doing that. So let's see how that actually happens in practice by hearing the experience of Natalia. And with that being said, I would just like to start with the first question, which is basically, Natalia, tell us more about your background. Where are you from? What have you studied previously? What are you passionate about? And anything you'd like to share so we could understand a little bit more about if, your professional journey, your academic career, and anything you'd like to share.
So my first education was medical education. I always dream to be a doctor, but during my medical education, I have a lot interest of informatics and some experience I collected in this part as for myself without special education, just small courses or small online programs. And of course, it was always useful to use it later in my profession. As I already told, I'm a radiologist, and of course, every day I have a lot of work with different picture, with different programs, with some different type of information. And sometimes somewhere I decided that okay, I have not a whole picture, but I would like to make to have more information. On the other side, it was always interesting for me to understand how could I manage it, not only use this modern technology, but also what can I do to do it every day better. And I looked at different MBA programs, but usually it is not online programs. It combined programs. It takes a lot of time, and usually you need to study it presents. You need to visit university or some other educational schools every day or 3 times a week, sometimes on weekend. And for me, it was absolutely no go because of my work and my role of mother. I need more flexibility, and this way, this program, absolutely online education program, was for me the best choice. Not only this, of course, I make a comparison with other programs, with other universities, but when I see who are lecturers, it was also criteria why I decided to study this program, because it was people with huge practical experience, with absolutely spatial theoretical preparation, and I would like to take part to be a student to communicate with teachers and to make my journey as interesting as it possible.
Thank you so much for sharing this feedback. And it's so interesting because we basically also started on the second question, which is great because it would have been why you chose an online university. And I loved what you shared about the flexibility, right? Because you mentioned you're a mom, you work, and also studying, and the pre-requirements basically were like a prerequisite is to be like for physical programs in person there a couple of times a week, for example. And that becomes a challenge. And I can imagine because that's something we also discussed this week in the other webinar, right, about this flexibility and that the modern learners really value it a lot because it's juggling so much, so many responsibilities. And since we do value the opportunity to grow and to learn, we try to look for different solutions. And I'm so happy that for you, online university or like online education has been such a good fit.
For me, it is not only about flexibility, because for me it is also about people, and it is also make a good. It is also good for me that I have not only interesting contact with my teachers, but also have contact with students from all over the world, and we could exchange our experience, our information, and it is also an important part of online education.
That's so great to hear because you also mentioned the professors, the colleagues, and sometimes, you get this impression that basically it's fully online and you would feel very remote. But in reality, you're so connected to your professors, you're connected to your classmates, which adds so much to the educational experience because many people are a little bit maybe hesitant, thinking, okay, it's fully online, it does not really involve much connection, but with us, it's on the contrary. You really get to engage with our professors and fellow students.
You are right, because there are a lot of different options to contact with teachers. We have live session, we have webinar, we have lectures, and also there are a lot of different ways to connect with my classmates. We have a special chat. We have also small private talks. We could correspond each other with email and sometimes we talk not only about our education process, sometimes we have time and interest to talk about a lot of other different things.
I'm so glad to hear that. And how do you stay motivated actually or organized when you study fully online, and how a typical day would look like for you?
I think the main point of motivation it is the Inhalt context of program, because the lecture and tasks and homework and a different methodological approach, it also makes me always uh, interesting in this process, because this information is not only new for me, but also this information organized so that I can understand it, not without special IT background or without special IT skills. I'm not from IT. But it's the logical structure and form of material. It makes sense to try to do it again, and again. And so usually I could not say that I have a fast, but I have a direct plan. But sometimes I can study one day a little bit more, and another day when I have something else, I could change my plan. But of course, it is necessary to understand how I need to manage my time for new week, and it is also possible because I always get information about new course before it starts.
Excellent. I liked what you mentioned about not having an IT background and still like enjoying the classes, understanding the courses and everything. For our participants and listeners, I just wanted to say that we do welcome students or applicants with different backgrounds. So for us, it's really also very exciting to have people from different backgrounds because when you work in groups, when you engage with each other, it's just so much more enriching when people come from different backgrounds. So just for you to know, if you don't have an IT background, you're very welcome to apply. You don't have to have this, computer science background and so forth. We welcome applicants with different backgrounds. And with that being said, I will also want to move a little bit to a topic that we briefly touched upon. You mentioned how you connect with classmates and professors. Maybe you could share more because you mentioned live sessions, right? And working in some groups. You also mentioned, I think, that the professors have drop-in session or like office hours, which is great. They
Exactly.
do. And if there is anything because we spoke, you got to really cover quite well this. If there is anything else you would want to add here, I would want to open the stage for you to share more.
So I could, in general, summarize. It's really makes sense to be always in touch with professors and classmates, because it's. I feel myself not isolated. I feel myself not alone, and of course, it is interesting to stay in this exchange. So with professors, it is possible to have live classes. It is possible to have open hours. It is always 1 or 2 times a week, and it is always scheduled. Not so you have a lot of possibilities to take part in different days and in different times. Also, it is possible to always reach professors per email. Usually, I get answer for all my question. I could say immediately when it comes in 1 2 hours. For me, it is immediately. And with classmates, we use different forums. We could discuss some information about theoretical material. We could discuss information about homework, about challenges, and email also always a good way to stay in touch with classmates.
Excellent. Thank you so much for summarizing all these points. I also would like to share for the participants and listeners, our program or like the program is structured both with asynchronous parts, so you can watch pre-recorded videos, read and do different exercises, as well as we have synchronous elements, which are the live sessions and so on. And I wanted to ask you, Natalia, what do you prefer more? Like, what is your medium that you like best? Like, do you like the drop-in sessions, the live sessions? Do you like having this flexibility when you could do the asynchronous parts at your own time? What works best for you so far?
For me, works exactly this combination. It is
Okay.
a really correct combination with work. I couldn't say that one part is better because another part is also necessary, and I could say that another part is better because only this combination it is a really correct combination to make a progress.
Excellent. Well, I'm very happy to hear that because I also think it's so important to keep the balance, right? Like having the flexibility to study, I don't know, early mornings or late nights or anywhere you are, or maybe during the lunch break, but then at the same time having this life elements where you do connect with your professors live and classmates, as well as if you have more questions and need more support, you could go to the office hours. So I'm glad to hear that for you, this is working quite well. And what have been some of the highlights for you for studying online with the German University of Digital Science?
I could say it is my first experience with online education, and it is amazing to see how it works and how perfect it works. So I could say exactly this new experience and how it works. It is a highlights of studying in German days for me.
That makes me really excited to hear that, especially as somebody, as you mentioned, that you're the first time basically studying fully online, and the fact that you feel that this kind of approach that we have works great for you, uh, that just warms my heart and makes me super happy about that. And what advice then would you give to somebody who is considering studying online for the first time?
Don't have don't think not too much. Oh, it is difficult, or it is possible, or it takes too much time, or how could I manage it? Just do it. Just do it, and it will get results.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to mention that something that was mentioned in a different webinar. I also wanted to support this and exactly what you said. I think it's so important to be proactive, right? So, like,
Exactly.
to start to try things out. And if something is not working, I think early communication is the best. Just reaching out to, the faculty, us supporting you, anybody, and we're here to help because we really value so much the student journey and we want to be there for you to support you. So being proactive and speaking about your needs also helps. I also think in class, if you're, for example, having a hard time with an assignment where if you don't have a clear understanding of something, I think it's just best to reach out as early as possible so the professors or all the relevant stakeholders could support you in your academic journey. And
It's all true because I have during my education different questions, technical questions, question about tasks, question about some different about really about different things, and always I get a professional information, professional support, and I can do it uh, again.
thank you so much, Natalia, for sharing your experience. And as we reach the final question, I wanted to ask you, what are your plans and aspirations after completing your studies at the German University of Digital Science?
I think it will be um, it will comes new type. It will get me not only information, not only theoretical and practical skills. I could imagine that I could change something in my professional way.
We hope that all your aspirations and plans and even more come to be true. And we will be rooting for you and we will be supporting you. So, yeah, thank you one more time for sharing your experience with us, Natalia. I would like to check now with the audience if there are any questions because I have received some pre-submitted questions. And these are, can you combine work and study? Why and what is the weekly time commitment for your studies?
Yes, I could really good combine my work. I'm a full day worker, and of course I have sometimes shift as a doctor, but it's always possible because on this format, because of this online education, to combine my work and studies. I could really do it in the morning, in the power pause, on weekends. About time, it's sometimes difficult to say, but I do 2 hours a day, for example. Sometimes some material is a little bit easy, and I could understand it quickly and make some tasks really quickly. Sometimes I need more time, not only to see video, but also read some more additional information, and it takes more time. I really could say the time which you spend on your education depend on you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And a final question, if you could elaborate more, why did you choose digital transformation for your further studies?
It is really what's now happened in the health system.
Very brief and exactly on point.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Natalia. With that, I would wrap up the student storytelling section and would like to move a little bit forward for our participants and listeners. So, if you think that online education is a great fit for you as well, I would like to encourage you to apply to our programs. I'm happy to share that we actually have a very easy, very smooth application process for all of our programs. So basically, if you were to scan this QR code that you see on the screen, it would take you to our application portal where you could also find a application tutorial. So a step-by-step guide how to apply. It's very is simple, it's very easy. You just create an account and submit the required documents as listed here. You'll be guided in the application portal, like you'll have all the information out there. It is worthwhile mentioning that we do have two intakes, so it's April and October, and the applications for the April intake are ongoing, so you can already submit your application. I'd also like to emphasize that the fees include full access to learning materials, platforms, and academic support, and of course, the possibility to extend your studies free of charge. We are here to support you and help you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to these email addresses as listed here on the slide. We're here to help you, and we hope that for any questions you reach out to us via the website, social media, or email. We are here and we hope to support you in any, like in your journey, be it in the application journey, being a student with us, and upon graduation as well to support you. And with that, I would like to thank Natalia for sharing your story, for spending the time with us here today. And dear participants, thank you for your time and contribution to this webinar. We
Thank
hope.
you. I also thank you for your question and for job which you and your team do.
Thank you so much, Natalia. It's been a pleasure having you today with us here. And I also wanted to emphasize one more time that we are reachable. Feel free to reach out to us at any point, and we look forward to hopefully welcoming you soon as a German UDS student. Thank you for your time.